So, hello everyone, myself Venu, lecturer in mechanical engineering from Government Polytechnic Varangal, and subject dealing is refrigeration and air conditioning. And today's video lesson or lecture goes on condensers and the types of condensers. So, if you observe the last previous video lesson, we have focused on more on the compressors, the function of compressor, the types of compressors, and different types we have seen, and elaborately we have discussed regarding the compressors. And the next we will move on to the next refrigeration equipment, that is regarding the condensers. We will see the function of condensers, the types of condensers, and we will explain some types regarding in that, and you will get some idea regarding that how the uh, heat exchange is taking place and how the condensation is happening from vapor to liquid, how the condensation is happening. So all the things can be seen in this today's class. Just we recap all the things what you have studied. That if you observe the exclusively the last video class, so we have seen the types of rotary compressors and their working, like a roller type and vane type compressor, and next screw compressor, next centrifugal compressor. And so today here we are able to complete now in this period. Okay, so upon completion of this period, so you will able to understood, or you able to know the function of condenser and the types of condensers and working principle of the fin tube condenser and shell and tube condenser, shell and coil condenser. So we will see all these types, the functioning, the types, working principle of we will see along with the diagrams. Explanation will be there. So here coming to the what the main equipment, the one more main equipment in the refrigeration part is condenser, mostly used in all the equipments, but they appear in a different way. So just we will see the different types and how they are appeared, uh, what are the different names regarding that condensers, so we can see that. So before that, just we recall where it is situated. For example, if you are considering some vapor compression refrigeration system, VCR system, already we have seen. So in that, where the condenser is placed, that is the important equipment. So just after the compressor, it means if you see the delivery line from the compressor, so it is attached to the, or it is made connected to the condenser component, or it is before the expansion wall. So it is placed in between the compressor and the expansion wall, or in place of compressor or receiver, so condenser is placed. So here it is mostly it can be placed at the high pressure side of the refrigeration system. If you take in the air conditioning component like split air conditioners, so the condenser is a high pressure side system and the compressor is a high pressure side system. So both the components are placed like an outdoor unit and placed at some the top roof of the building, top of the building, like that. Why? Because they are it's rejecting the heat to the outside, so where it is not feasible to place inside the room for air conditioning purpose mainly. So in the split air conditioner, it acts like an outdoor unit completely. It is placed at the outside, so it contains some like a condenser, fan, and some equipments like that, a few additional equipments. So it will be placed outside of the room. So here and also it is a high pressure side of the system consider. Next, it is placed next to the compressor. And here one more thing, it can also be called as a heat exchanger. So already discussed in the VCR system, the heat exchange is taking place in between the cooling medium and the refrigerant which is flowing inside the tubes. So cooling medium, it can maybe air naturally available, or forced available type of air, or some water, whatever it may, the cooling medium. And now the refrigerant which is flowing inside the tubes, so it has a very high temperature where due to it's rejecting the heat to the surroundings, to the air or to the water. So phase change is taking place in the condenser, so it will act like a heat exchanger. So the condenser can also be known as a heat exchanger in this case. Okay. So heat transfer takes place between the superheated refrigerant vapor from compressor and the cooling medium of the condenser. Okay, so heat transfer is taking place, that whatever the superheated refrigerant vapor is there, so where it has turned to superheated form in the compressor. At the end of the compressor you can see, so that refrigerant is entering into the condenser, will make a indirect contact with the cooling medium of the condenser. So here the heat transfer takes place and it acts like a heat exchanger. Next, the condenser, the refrigerant is first cooled to saturation and then condensed to the liquid state. So here already told the phase change is taking place from vapor form to the liquid state. So here the refrigerant is first cooled to saturation point. Refrigerant first cooled to the actually it is in the stage of superheated vapor form, that it reaches to the saturated liquid form, then the saturation will start and completely convert into the liquid state. So that is the process happening in the condenser. So here whatever the cooling media already discussed, there may be air or water or a combination of both the two. We can see all the things, the air cooled condenser, water cooled condenser, and the combination of two, the air and water making contact, indirect contact with the refrigerant to cool the refrigerant. So we will see all these three different cases in the diagrams. Next, uh, so this is regarding the what is the condenser and what is the function of a condenser. The next, we move on to we discuss elaborately regarding the condensers in this. Before that we will see the types of condensers. So the types of condensers, here depending on cooling medium what you are taken here. So the air cooled condensers, when the cooling medium is air, uh, the whatever the constructed condensers are there, they are basically divided into two types. One is the chassis mounted condenser and a remote air cooled condenser. So very due to its limited, it means it occupies very larger volume when it means for air cooled condensers generally, if it has to use for a larger type, it requires a very larger fan for like forced air cooled condenser. Forced air type is required, so it requires a bigger fans. So instead of that, it is limited to only for 1 ton to 3 ton capacity refrigeration equipment. So these type of condensers can be utilized like chassis mounted and remote air cooled condenser. Very simple case, just to identify remote air cooled condenser, it is kept far away from the other equipment, other refrigeration equipment. Just like already told, it is placed at some at the roof of the, you can take example of split air conditioner. Condenser and compressor is placed at some other side. There is a remote instead of where you are getting the cooling system. So you are placing the condenser away from that cooling system. That is a remote type. Chassis mounted means whenever it is placed, all the components are fixed on a single basis or a single chassis, just like act like a base. Okay, you can take example of a window type air conditioner. There you can see the condensers. So condenser, compressor, evaporator, expansion hole, all they are placed in a single unit, and all of the components are chassis made. Just like base, on the base it is fixed. Right. And coming to the water cooled condensers, so how to identify them? So here these air cooled condensers, you can easily see them in for example chassis mounted or remote air cooled condensers. You can see there is a condenser component along with a small fan is provided there for forced air cooled medium for forced type. You can small fan is placed, just like you take example of split air conditioner or window air conditioner also, it requires some fan. So naturally air cooled condensers, if you observe, so it can be placed for a refrigerator, a domestic refrigerator. You can see at the back side of a refrigerator there is a part of a condenser placed at the back side. Complete whatever the height of a refrigerator, it is at back side, it is covered with the condenser. You can see that, just like it, wire and tube condenser it is a fixed, a tubing is there, a curved tubing is there, along with a wires is placed. The wires are utilized to fix them, uh, fix it together, and it also acts like a fins. We'll see what is the fins like. It acts like a fins also. So next, coming to the water cooled condensers, there are different types like a shell and a tube condenser. We will see all these diagrams: a shell and a tube condenser, shell and coil condenser, and double pipe condensers. Okay, So you will see these type of condensers, air cooled and water cooled. So double pipe condenser can be taken as a combination of both the medium will make contact with the in this double pipe condenser. The cooling medium is water and air, both will make contact with in this double pipe condenser, right? The third one is a evaporative condenser. Okay. So in this today's class mostly we'll explain up to the double pipe condenser, so it will be cleared for all the things. Next classes we will see this evaporative condenser. It's a quite interesting topic. So meanwhile in this today's lesson we'll complete this air cooled and water cooled condensers, right? So coming here, the air cooled condensers. So here very simple, here simple to identify what type of condenser it is. So here the air cooled condensers uses air as cooling medium. Okay. So it used in only in small capacity machines, just what I have told, just up to 1 ton to 3 ton machines, or refrigerator machines. So these air cooled condensers are used. Now here, what is the how to identify chassis mounted means, as already I have explained that condenser is mounted on the same chassis. It means just like base. You know the chassis meaning in the sense just like it is a hard base, which mostly used in the automobile field. There is auto, if you take any like a, there will be chassis. If you take any truck or bus or any heavy vehicles or some cars, so like passenger vehicles, you can see there is a chassis, a very heavily bridged structure it is, named as a chassis on which all the components are placed. So like that, here the condenser, compressor, motor, receivers, all the components are placed on the same base, so it can be taken as a chassis mounted air cooled condensers. Okay. Next, the remote air cooled condensers. So just we see the sentence regarding the air. Just like when I have installed far away from the roofs or sides, it can be placed on the like that. Okay, so they may be placed in some cases. The condenser is fixed at some other part, and compressor is placed at some other part, and evaporating unit is placed inside the room. So different remote places they are placed. Okay, so like that they are remote air cooled condensers. So coming to this fin tube condenser, it's a bare tube unit, uh, where the bare tube is there. So around with that, fins are provided to that. So just look at the diagram, so what are the components involved in that. So you can take out here, the the from top you can see the refrigerant vapor is coming from the compressor, and they are entering through a tubing section, and they are dividing into the, since it is accumulated in some space at the top, and now they are distributed into the different pipes. Okay, they enters into the different pipes which are provided here, and you can see some sections whatever they provided here, the lines around that pipe, and that nothing but those are the fins. So to these pipes and fins, you can see at the side a motor along with the fan is provided here. So it's a forced air cooled condenser, and it is also known as a finned tube condenser. And at the bottom you can see after it is making contact with the air, that is a cooling medium. So at the bottom we are placing the receiver where the liquid refrigerant is accumulated at the bottom, and whatever the opening is provided here, so through the opening the liquid refrigerant will come outside and enters into the receiver tank, or it moves into the directly into the expansion device. Okay, so now the thing, you can see here what is the purpose of the fin. So we will see here. So just see the statements here. So it consists of the tubes provided with the fins to increase the heat transfer area. So it consists of fins to increase the heat transfer area. Remember this point as it consists of a tubes provided with fins. So why the need of the fins? A small gap of just like a plate type of structure, mostly using some aluminum material. Uh, a wide gap is provided in between each and every film or each and every plate. It increases the heat transfer area. So more the contact area of the air will increases and heat transfer rate will also increases. Now it mostly made up of aluminum, the fins, and it is a spacing is wide to reduce the dust clogging. That is also one thing. If you provided very a narrow gap in between the two fins, so the dust clogging is the main problem. So just a wide gap is provided in between each and every fin, so it reduces the dust clogging and effective heat transfer will take place. So this is regarding uh, the fin tube, where it have the flats, where the fins, if you observe, it has the plate surfaces also. So fins may be cooled by natural circulation or forced circulation of the cooling medium. So first make contact with the cooling medium, then next that heat that air is making contact of the tube, so more heat can be making contact with the tube, so the cooling process will take place. Next, the finite tube condenser is cooled by forced circulation of air. So as already explained that the forced type air cooled condenser, if you are providing the fan, the forced type of air is making contact with the fins and the tubes and heat transfer will take place, so the heat will reject at the other side of the condenser. Now the condenser, compressor, motor and receiver are mounted on the same chassis in this, when you are using these type of finite tube condensers, and these condensers are available in the range of up to 3 tons. I already told it's a air cooled condenser, maybe forced or natural, generally used utilized for 1 ton to 3 ton like that. Okay, so this is regarding one example of that air cooled condenser. It may be natural or air forced type. And coming to the water cooled condensers, so basically mostly explain these three types in these water cooled condensers. So here why the name it is given like water cooled means cooling medium used in these condensers is water, so whereas in the previous case it is air. Now so it is used for all sizes and types of refrigeration machines, so it may be bigger size or smaller size capacity. So these water cooled condensers are employed. They are economical, and water can be available uh, at where the plenty of water is available, so there we can employ these water cooled condensers. So just like a large quantity of water is available, so it is suitable at that case. Okay, so as already seen in the classification of that condenser, in water cooled condenser, that is a shell and tube, shell and coil, and a tube and tube condenser or double tube condenser is there. Okay, so first we'll try to explain in the first case, that is a shell and a tube condenser. Okay, shell and a tube condenser, just we look at the line diagram of that regarding that. Right, so this is the diagram of the shell and tube condenser. Just you can see the refrigerant which is flowing inside the tubes, so you can just, it is a cut section, so you can see like that. Inside there is some curved type of structures will be there. So if you cut the section, so it will be visible like this. So refrigerant gas which is coming from the compressor with high pressure, it will enter through the tubes, and inside the tubes it will flow, and after the heat exchange process taking place, so phase change due to the liquid refrigerant which is coming at the bottom phase. So refrigerant gas is entering at the top, liquid refrigerant is collecting at the bottom. Now if you see the other side of the shell here, at the left side, the water with normal water at a normal temperature, the water is entering at the bottom section, and you can see at the top there will be exit where the water is coming out with high temperature, heat exchange is taking place. Hot water which is coming at the exit is provided for the hot water at the top. So these are the two headers at the sides. So whenever there is a requirement to clean inside the tubing section and all the inside section, so the headers can be opened, and so manually it can be cleaned. We will see some point wise discussion regarding this. So it's a steel shell, so fitted with some horizontal water tubes. So horizontal water tubes are there. So it's a complete steel shell. The water tubes are connected to the headers. So whatever the water tubes are there, here you can see at the sides, so these are connected to the headers, the inlet and exit at both ends of the condensers. So headers can be opened for periodic clean, as I already explained that. So for whenever the water is coming with some with any some foreign particles are accumulated in this, so it can be cleaned by opening these headers, and the cleaning can be done for the condenser tubes also. Okay. Next, uh, the cooling water enters at the bottom. You can see at the side of the shell, it is a complete shell, and the tubes, in the tubes the refrigerant gas is flowing. So the water enters at the bottom, and water flow through a set of tubes till it reaches the other end of the shell. So here, in between the tubes, you can see uh, the water which is entered, it will make contact with the tubes, around the tubes, and it will reaches the other end of the shell. It means at the right hand side it will move. Then next, what happens, the water travels in opposite direction through the upper tubes. So at the top it is making again a reverse direction. Okay, a reverse direction it is making, and at the top it is coming in other, in the reverse direction, where it enters in in a, in a different direction. At the top, in a counter direction it is coming. So whenever it is traveling in opposite direction through upper tubes, and leaves the condenser through outlet. So here the water outlet is provided. So here the water can become outside, hot water, by exchanging the heat. Okay, right. Next, regarding the working principle, the cooling water flows through the tubes. Okay. Water absorbs heat from hot refrigerant and temperature rises. So here, so between the tubes, the water is entering here, and the water absorbs the heat from the refrigerant which is flowing inside the tubes, and the temperature rises here, and the temperature rises. So refrigerant vapor enters from top of the shell. You can see here, from the top of the shell, the refrigerant vapor is entering. And next, the refrigerant flow downwards, so coming in contact with the surface of the cold water tubes. So whatever the water tubes are there, so it is making contact with that. Now what happens, the refrigerant is cooled and by the water, by the cooling medium, and gets condensed. So that condensed refrigerant is collected at the bottom. So mostly these type of condenser can be used with the capacity of 2 ton to 100 tons capacity. These shell and tube condensers can be employed. So this is regarding shell and tube condensers. Next, this is the first case, and next, second case is shell and coil. Coil in the sense, here also uh, it's also tube, but provided in the shape of a coil, and the shell is used here. So you can observe the diagram first for a while, and next we move on to the topic. Right, so you can see here, this is the shell, the outer part where the coil is inserted in the shell. You can see this is the outer part, complete section. You can see it is a shell. So inside that there is a coil. Okay, so in the coil water is moving, and in the shell the refrigerant is present. So remember, in the coil the water is flowing, and in the shell there is a refrigerant. Now if you observe at the bottom end of a coil, the water is entering here, the normal water is entering here, uh, okay, which is a cooling medium here. That water will flows inside the tubes, or in the coil, sorry, in the coil, and move upwards. Now the whatever the hot water is there, by receiving the heat from the refrigerant, from the vapor refrigerant, that hot water at the top of the shell, it will come outside. So this is regarding the water circuit or the cooling medium circuit which is flowing inside the coil. Whereas if you observe the shell portion, so there will be two uh, here the two passages are provided, where the refrigerant is coming at flowing from the top, and the liquid refrigerant is collected at the bottom. So here there is a counter direction between the cooling medium and the refrigerant. Refrigerant is which is coming from the compressor, it will enter from the top. Okay. So after condensation or making heat exchange between the water and which is in coil and a vapor refrigerant, so it will condense and accumulate at the bottom. Then it will that it enters into the due to the same with the same pressure, it will enters into the next component, that may receiver or some expansion devices. The liquid refrigerant is coming through the other passage at the exit, you can see at the bottom of the shell. So okay, so see some points regarding this. Again, it is made with a steel shell, complete steel shell, made up of one or more bait tubes or finned tube coils enclosed in steel shells. So this is a bait tube coils or like a coil type of structure enclosed in this steel shell. So it is suitable where clean water is available. So since it is moving in a coil type of structure, so completely you have to use a pure water or some clean water by eliminating some foreign particles. So if it stuck, so it cannot be cleaned by some, in any other way. It may be somewhat difficult if any foreign particles is stuck inside the coil. So must and should clean water is utilized to move into the coil. Coming to the working principle, the cooling water enters at the coil at the lower end and leaves at the upper end. Already explained that. Next, the refrigerant vapors enters at the top of the shell. So it will flows down, make contact with the cold water tubes. Then next, here the refrigerant is cooled and condensed, so which is collected at the bottom of the shell. The refrigerant collects at the bottom of the shell. So the refrigerant collects at the bottom of the shell, and then it enters into the next component. So these are available in the range of 0 to 50 tons capacity. Okay, 0 to 50 tons capacity. So mostly compared to shell and tube condensers, so shell and coil condensers can be used for lesser capacity, and where the water requirement, clean water requirement is there, so where there we can use the these shell and coil condensers. Okay, the next, coming to the double tube condenser. See the refrigerant, how you can observe here, double tube condenser. Again the same case, water is used as a cooling medium here. So water is entering through one, there is a tube in tube section. The water tube is placed inside the other tube. So in the other tube, refrigerant is flowing around the water tube. So you can observe here from the top, you can see the outer section of the tube where the refrigerant vapor is entering from the compressor, and it enters into the outer section of the pipe. Whereas the inner section of the pipe, if you observe, water is flowing inside the tube. Here the water is entering at the bottom side of the condenser. Next, whatever the vapor refrigerant is entered through the outer section of the pipe, so it is getting exit at the bottom by changing its phase to liquid refrigerant. Now whatever the water entered through the at the bottom, the normal water, by taking the heat, that hot water at the exit, you can see at the top of the condenser, double tube condenser, it is coming outside at the top. So here a counter flow is taking place. Refrigerant is coming in one direction, and the water is coming in other direction. So counter flow is taking place, and heat exchange taking place in these type of condenser. In this double tube condenser is more compared to the other these things. Okay, so just have a look regarding this, and if you observe clearly, it is also making contact with the, if you see, the refrigerant vapor is flowing the outer section of the pipe. So whatever the air which is present around this tubing section, so the air is also taking the heat from this refrigerant vapor and rejecting outside within the atmosphere only. So air is making contact, and the water cooling medium is also making indirect contact, but both of them are utilized here for effective heat transfer purpose. Okay, so just have a look here. Just we'll see some sentences regarding this. So it consists of two pipes, a tube in tube section or tube in tube condenser it is also. So one pipe is fitted inside the other. Cooling water enters in the inner pipe at the lower end. So inner pipe water is flowing, at the lower end there is an entry, and water leaves at the upper end. So whatever the inner pipe is there, so water leaves at the upper end. Refrigerant vapors enters the outer pipe. So water outer pipe is there, refrigerant vapor is entering at the top, at the upper end it is entering. So now the liquid refrigerant leaves at the lower end. Liquid refrigerant leaves at the lower end. So after changing its phase, it collected at the bottom. So it transfers high rate of heat when compared with the other condensers what you have seen till now. So it has a high rate of heat transfer. Okay. Now the refrigerant vapor passing through the outer tube is further cooled by the atmospheric air. So I already explained that atmospheric air and water, both the cooling mediums are making contact with the refrigerant. Effective heat transfer take place in this type of condenser. So double tube condensers are utilized for where the requirement of more heat transfer is there. So these are available up to a range of 10 tons, but it can be utilized for like bigger size, but compared to other shell and tube and shell and coil condensers, so it is limited up to mostly utilized for 10 tons. Okay. And here also it should utilize the clean water because of its structure. It is a tube in tube section. The cleaning of these inside the section is very uh, it's very difficult out there, so you have to use the clean water, and mostly utilized for 10 ton capacity, up to 10 ton capacity. Okay, so this is regarding the all these condensers. Coming to the summary part, so hope you have discussed, I think you are able to learn, you got some information regarding or you got some lecture. I think you have understood regarding on these topics of what is a condenser, what is the function of condensers, the types of condensers, finned tube condenser and water cooled condensers, shell and tube, shell and coil, double tube condensers. So all these topics have discussed in this video lesson. So this is regarding the summary, and just you can have that air cooled and water cooled condensers. Okay, right. So hope you have understood that. So just we try to solve this quiz part regarding on this topic, then you can know more what I have studied or what I have learned like that. So if you answer this, it is very easy. So water is flowing through the tubes and absorbs the heat from. So if you observe the condenser cases, what you have seen, water is flowing inside the tubes and absorbs the heat from. The water is the cooling medium now, so it is absorbing the heat from, what is that? Answer is the refrigerant. Okay, very simple one. Right. Coming to the next question. So here the condenser, the refrigerant changes its phase from. So condensation process, nothing but condense means liquid. So the vapor refrigerant is converting to the liquid refrigerant. Why? Because if you observe from the compressor, it is coming with a form of a superheated vapor form. In the condenser, first it condenses to saturated liquid, then the liquid, the change of its phase is taking place. So finally it is converting from vapor to liquid form. That is a condensation process. So if you see the options, vapor to liquid, liquid to vapor, no change, and the answer you can note it as vapor to liquid. If you see the second option, that is a liquid to vapor, so mostly is the change of this process from liquid to vapor, that is a vaporization process which is happening in the evaporator. The name itself it tells like evaporation or vaporization. So liquid to vapor conversion, but here condenser it is vapor to liquid form. Next, the purpose of the fins. So this is also important bit, that is what is the purpose of the fins. So the first answer is right. First a part, increases the heat transfer area. More the heat transfer and more area, more the heat transfer area, so more heat exchange will take place. Okay, so the option you can see here, so the answer is A. Okay, so this is about this question, and the next question, if you see, fins spacing is quite wide to reduce. So why the fins spacing? Already discussed that in a fin tube condenser, why the fins are placed like wide space is given to that, why the narrow space is not provided, why some space is provided between them, to reduce some dust clogging, right? If you very narrow gap provided between them is very less, so dust will occur in between them, so heat transfer rate will reduces. So that is a problem. So one problem, main problem is to avoid the dust clogging. Some fin space wide spacing is provided. So answer you can see here, that is a dust clogging. So options is given like dust clogging, no clogging, rust only. Answer, better answer is, that is a dust clogging. So it will reduces the dust clogging. Next. Okay, so this is regarding quiz. Hope you have answered that correctly, and if you see this video lesson, you can answer that very easily. Next, coming to the frequently asked question. So how do you classify condensers? See, in the condensers, air cooled, water cooled, and evaporative condensers. So the last topic, right, that evaporative condensers, we'll see in the next video lesson. So how do you classify condensers? Explain the shell and tube condenser with a neat diagram. Shell and tube condenser, already I have seen the diagram also, line diagram, and the explanation is taken. So you can draw the diagram, you can explain what is happening in the condenser, how the shell and tube is identified physically. If you look at that, so you can tell it is a shell and tube condenser. Similarly, explain the shell and coil condenser with a neat diagram where the tubing is provided like a coil shape and there is a steel shell is present there. So like that, you have to remember that, and you can easily explain along with the diagram. Next one, you can take explain finned tube condenser with a neat diagram. Finned tube condenser, it's an air cooled condenser where mostly use the fins for effective heat transfer. So similarly, the next question, explain the double tube condenser with a neat sketch, or in sometimes they may ask explain tube in tube condenser. So tube, inside that there is another tube in tube condenser with a neat sketch. Okay, so these are the few frequently asked questions where you can answer them very easily. So if you look at this video class, so you can easily answer them along with the diagrams. You can practice the diagrams by passing the video of this, and you can note the diagram of that. Okay, and if you listen the theory part, it will be very helpful for you. Okay, so this is regarding this today's video session regarding the condensers, and hope you have understood the other important equipment in the refrigeration equipments, that is the condensers. Okay, and left out topic is that is evaporative condensers. And next, we move into the other important topic, that is other important equipment, that is the expansion devices, or we will see some evaporators like that. Okay, so continuation in the next video classes, so we'll concentrate on those topics, and we'll try to complete the major portion of the refrigeration equipment chapter. Okay, so hope you have understood this today's video lesson. So, and